Welcome back to the Against All Odds, the Less Than 1% Chance podcast with your host, Maria Ponte, where we will hear stories of incredible people thriving against all odds. And my hope is that we can all see how life is always happening for us, even when we are the less than 1% chance. Hey, welcome back to Against All Odds, the Less Than 1% Chance podcast with your host, Maria Aponte. I am so excited because we have our first boomerang guest. I am so excited to reintroduce you to Shelley. I am just going to go quickly over her intro, and then we can chit-chat as to where we were when we chatted last time, about a year and a half ago, more or less, to where we are now and everything that's happened, because there's so much that has happened since then. So I'm really excited to have a conversation with Shelley today. And honestly, I'm so honored that you came back and here to give us an update. Yes, absolutely. I love an update. I'm so excited. As a celebrated empowerment speaker, certified life purpose and confidence coach, life strategist, and best-selling author, Shelley Meche'tte empowers ambitious, faith-driven women entrepreneurs with simple yet powerful strategies to release burnout, trade hustle for alignment and purpose, and confidently thrive in faith, family, and business. A 3-time stroke survivor in one day, Shelley's journey from crisis to redirected calling drives her mission to equip women with the mindset, boundaries, and spiritual grounding needed to lead balanced and fulfilling lives. Her story is a reminder that life success doesn't require constant striving, but rather aligned action and faithful stewardship of your God-given gifts. She has inspired thousands through her acclaimed books, including 7 Days of Happy, Life is Better When You Smile, Empower Her Minds, and Women's Inspiring Nations. Shelley electrifies stages with her transparent storytelling, humor, and practical strategies, igniting transformation and possibility in every audience she encounters. As a life strategist, she inspires women to design purpose-fueled lives, inviting them to integrate drive with direction, leading from a place of grace, not grind, which we all need. Shelley is also the founder of the Powerful Woman, a platform dedicated to molding women into champions of their own lives through personal and professional growth. Her career has included roles in the industry giants like Warner Brothers, Walt Disney, Sabian Entertainment. Her impact has been featured by CBS, NBC, ABC, Bakersfield Now News, ARC Seattle, and more. Shelley's empowering insights have graced platforms as The List, Shondaland, Voyage LA, and online magazine covers including Glambitious and Sister to Sister 2.0. In 2021, Shelley was honored as one of the top 25 women in business, and later again as the 2025 Global Trailblazer by Courageous Women magazine. That is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She was featured in Voices of Change magazine on one of 2025's top 60 women leaders to watch. Shelley Meche'tte is a paragon of transformation, empowering women to live boldly, freely, and without apology. Welcome again, Shelley.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. So, okay, give us an idea of where you were about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And just maybe a short snippet of the things that you went through prior to that, so that we see why you were here a year and a half ago, your Against All Odds story from then, and then what happened since then that has transformed you even more.
Yes. Again, thank you so much for having me, Maria. I'm so excited to be back. There is a lot, girl, that has happened.
I love it. I love it. I'm so
from the
excited to
last
hear.
time that we were together. And I know the last time that I was here, we talked a lot about our value as women and being against all odds as far as us really understanding who we are. Because a lot of times we get trapped. We get trapped in our titles, we get trapped in value, and we get trapped in trying to figure out who we are outside of those titles. And so at that time, I was really an overcomer of my own insecurities and my own limiting beliefs. Because again, I was one who was a stay at home mom. And while I loved being a stay at home mom, what happened is all of my goals and my dreams, I felt like I was too late for. I couldn't accomplish them. And so, me being able to live in my dreams, of being able to act. I love acting. And when I became a stay at home mom, it's like, okay, I have to give this up now. Now, who am I? What do I do? I do everything for everybody else. What happens to my goals, my dreams, my this? And as those years passed, I felt like my age determined value or what I did throughout that day. If I had a good day, met all the marks, yay, you're good, you're wonderful. But if you miss one of those marks, if you yelled at the kids, if you burned the dinner, or if the dinner wasn't ready on time, or if you skipped cleaning something, now you're terrible, you're bad, you're not a good mom. Getting rid of all of that was the transformation for me being able to step into not only the things that I love, my goals, my hobbies, my dreams, my desires, not just that, but understanding who I was as a
Yeah.
person beyond the titles. And so I was working with women at that time who were female entrepreneurs, actually who were mompreneurs, and helping them balance life and motherhood, balance business and motherhood. And as I was going through that, and I thought that's exactly where God wanted me to be, and I'm walking in purpose. And girl, I was loving purpose and all
Yeah.
of that. And then in May of this year, out of nowhere, what has changed the most is I survived 3 strokes in one day.
Wow.
One day.
Oh my
And
gosh.
what's so amazing and what excites me is the first stroke, of course, just took me by woo, took me by surprise. But the second one impaired my speech. And so every time I open my mouth to speak, I get excited because I couldn't talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I'm speaking about my experience, that's enough to make me just want to run down the street and start shouting because my speech was impaired. And then
Yeah.
that third stroke, and all of this, like I said, happened in one day in the ER room. The third one almost took my life. But what I found as God has healed me and been healing my body, my mind, and has been healing me throughout this is that purpose evolves.
Yeah.
Purpose can change and not the core of the purpose. If you're someone who loves teaching, teaching is the core of the
Yeah.
purpose. How you deliver that can always be altered. You can
Yeah.
teach your family. As a stay at home mom, you're still teaching. You can teach in the school setting. You can teach in your neighborhood. You can teach a class. So, the core of what I love, which is women and balance and being able to bring those things together, was always there. But what God showed me is that even in that, he's called me to something deeper, which now was to not have to grind and hustle at the things that we do in life. What I did is I looked back over my life and I found that I like to hustle. Ooh, I'm hustling. That was a badge of honor. Let me hustle for this and hustle for that. And what I found is in hustle was a lot of those issues that I was trying to help people with. That's
Yeah.
why I'm tired still. That's
Yes.
why I'm burned out. That's why there's frustration because there was glory in the hustle, which is what he wiped away and said, what if you work through grace instead of grind? What if you work through harmony instead of hustle? I want to show you and I want to show I want to show entrepreneurs that you don't have to hustle to get what I've already designed. And so God revamped my path to now, instead of me working with mompreneurs and helping them balance, God has redirected me to work with faith driven womenpreneurs, helping them balance life, family, and purpose with grace instead of grind. How do we work through grace to balance everything that He has called us to do
Yeah.
and do it without the burnout?
Yeah. Yeah, I can attest to feeling that. So last season of the podcast, so I've worked from home for many, many, many years. And about a year and a half ago, I got a job at a company outside of the home. And so I was driving into work, and it became learning a new career because this was something completely new to me. I went from being in the travel industry for many years, in the health and fitness business for many years, to healthcare that I had
Hmm.
no clue about. And just I knew that I had a great work ethic. I was a fast learner. I knew that I had all of the capabilities to move up in the company. I got a promotion in 6 months. Like, I knew that I had it in me. However, it was learning something new and also editing podcast episodes. And like, it got to a point where I was like, this doesn't feel aligned anymore. And I need
Right.
to maybe take a step back for a second
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
recalibrate myself, because this has felt purposeful for the 2 seasons that I've done it, and I don't want it to not feel purposeful anymore.
Right.
And so I stepped back and really focused on, again, getting better at what I had in front of me, because it was
Hmm.
a commitment that I made in terms of this new career, and really developed that. And then this October, I really felt called to bring back the podcast. And it didn't have to be like, I had my original air date was like in June. It was October. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, now is a great time.
Hmm.
Like, right now is a great time, because now I feel aligned with it again. I feel like I'm here again, and it hasn't felt like I'm in the grind anymore. It
Right.
feels like it's flowing again, like it
Hmm.
feels purposeful again, like I feel like I'm doing it with just a different energy. And
Yeah.
I never wanted it to feel like it was a chore. And at
Right.
towards the end, that's what it felt like. And I was like, oh, no, stop.
Right.
I need to
Right.
recalibrate.
Exactly. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. And what I'm not saying is that when we're doing things that is not work. It is work. What I'm not
Yeah.
saying is that it's not tiresome. It is
Yes.
tiresome. It can be tiresome. These are the things that come along with running businesses. These are the things that
Yes.
come along with being in purpose. What I'm saying is when you're striving to do everything, when you're not aligned and you're pushing for something that's not right now, God could be calling you to start a business. It doesn't mean that He's calling you to start it today. It could mean that
Yeah.
for the next 6 months, He wants you to research. For the next 6 months,
Yep.
He wants you to get into some type of a group. And for all you know, while you're in that group, you're going to meet the person who has the ability to take you to that next step. You don't have to strive for it. You don't have to grind so hard. Do you have to work? Absolutely. But when you work within God's grace, when you work within His timing, when you work at what you have been called to do and the time frame in which you've been called to do it, then what happens is you're graced for that time period. You're graced
Yeah.
for that season. There are certain things that I did in my 20s I'm not graced for now. I'm not graced.
Agreed.
That was 30 years ago. I'm 50 now,
Yeah.
52. I'm
Oh
not
my
graced for
gosh.
that.
You
You see
look
what
amazing, by the way. Let me
I'm
just,
saying? Thank you.
if you're watching with your eyeballs, and you look amazing.
Thank you. But it's certain things your girl just
Yeah.
can't do. She's
Agreed.
not graced for that. There was a time when I would stay up to 2, 3, 4 in the morning working on things. And I was a mom at that time, but I would be up to 2, 3 in the morning, jump up at 6, get the kids together, do this, go to the grocery store, do errands, do this, do homework, come back, cook this, do that. And I still didn't go to bed until 3 o'clock in the morning and do it all over again. Listen, at 9:30, I put covers on my ankles, y'all, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That type of push is not where I am today. And
Yeah.
I'm learning even more to listen to my body, especially after experiencing what I experienced. I'm learning, listen to your body. What's
Yeah.
going on with your body? Even though I felt like I was taking care of myself, I see where there were things that I missed.
Yeah.
I see that. And so and I don't want to push myself to the point of where I'm missing things.
Yeah.
I want to be able to stay in grace. I want to be able to stay in alignment. I want to be able to go back and say, well, Lord, you called me to this. So, you're going to have to figure this out. I don't have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. And I just step in the footprints that you have left for me. What a life to live when you can
Yeah.
turn it back over and say, you're the one who called me to this. This is going to cost me $5,000, $10,000. I'm going to bed. I'm not going to stress. You did it. You created. I walk in it. What a life
Yeah.
to live.
Yeah. It's in your hands. Thank you.
It's in your hands. You do it, Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, absolutely. I love it so much. So it is a different mindset shift. And I think that I feel my birthday was yesterday. So I
Happy birthday. Happy
thank you. Thank you.
belated.
Thank you. But I've noticed that there was a time where hustle was like the name of the game. And
Yes.
I have learned that my intuition, because I truly believe that we pray to God, right? We pray and we're praying to God. When we listen to our intuition, it's listening to God speaking to us.
Mm.
I truly believe that because it has, like, your that little guide, that in your belly feeling of, like, or in your heart feeling of, I know that this is the way that I'm being led to. I feel that's the only person that could be is God telling us this is the way, come on.
Yes, I
This is,
believe that God absolutely speaks to us. The Holy Spirit is our leader. The Holy
yeah,
Spirit indwells. The Holy Spirit is saying to us, "Hey, go here, go there." That conscious feeling, even for
yes,
those who don't believe in the Holy Spirit, there's
yeah,
that gnawing,
that belly feeling
deep
like,
in
oh,
inside of you, because God is so good. He still allows that feeling of like, maybe I shouldn't go this way. Maybe I shouldn't go that
yeah,
way. In my life, I lean on the Holy Spirit because that is who I believe in. And
yeah,
I believe that absolutely when we take the time to listen to the
mm-hmm,
direction, I believe that God gives us that unctioning. So many times you'll hear people say, you know what? I felt something was wrong. I went anyway, but something told me that this
yeah,
was not going to going to turn
yeah,
out right. And
yeah,
I and again, that's not to say that we're not going to run into trials, tribulations, hard times. That's not saying that the road is going to be straight when we go down that road. There's issues with everything that has to do with life, business. And there's
and
always
there's
it's
lesson yeah, there's
yeah,
lessons to learn. Like, I feel like
absolutely.
those things are needed, and I think that you're, as unfortunate as it is to say that you had 3 strokes in a day and that you lost your speed, those things still had purpose in your life
Absolutely.
because it
Absolutely.
redirected you to where
Mhm.
you are now. And
Yes.
I have I've gone through many things in my life, and I truly feel that I still would not change a thing that I have gone through, because
Mhm.
I am who I am today because
Yes.
of the things that I've gone through. And I've evolved and I've grown and I've changed. And I could
Mhm.
say, yeah, that was Maria from 10 years ago, but Maria from
Mhm.
today has so much more wisdom,
Yeah.
has learned how to listen to her intuition
Mhm.
and learn how to feel guided in her next steps. It could be in anything, it could be in our relationships. I've
Mhm.
been with my boyfriend now for 6 years, and we don't have a bad relationship. However, it has gotten to a point where it had become stagnant and it had
Mhm.
become so, in that mundane feeling, I one day was like, I'm going to send him, we had these like date cards to just spark conversation, and he was at his daughter's game, and I was like, I'm home, I'm like in the middle of cleaning, I'm going to send him this little picture of this question. And so it sparked conversation. And now it's like we send a card at least every day or a
That's
few a day,
beautiful.
but it starts conversations that
Yes.
we may have talked about this 6 years ago, but we're not even the same people anymore.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
it's those inspiration led,
Yes.
like, feeling that you're like, oh, we may have not even gotten this far if
If this
that
didn't happen.
if I didn't have that, like, I'm gonna send him
Mhm.
a card,
Yes.
because it felt right. It felt like what maybe we needed. And
Mhm.
now I feel so much more connected and so much more aligned with our relationship. Whereas maybe a few months ago, that wouldn't have been the case.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it could be in business, it could be, I feel like as we evolve, as we
Mhm.
start listening to that intuition or God
Mhm.
leading us, we it could be in any aspect of our life, but the fact that we
Yes.
learn how to listen and maybe
Yes.
step back and not be so like focused on I got to do and just be like what feels right and go that way because it makes things maybe easier
Yeah,
to
I definitely
navigate.
believe that. And I think that because we're such go, go, go people, just our society, we're just everything is
Yeah.
go, go, go. I think a lot of times we don't take that time to sit back and hear because a lot of times we look at things maybe logically or we see where something, is a trend right now or something is working well on this end or this works great for that person in their relationship or this
Yeah.
works amazing for this person in that business. I think a lot of times we don't take time to sit in the quiet. We don't
Mm-hmm.
take time to sit with our own thoughts. We don't take time to literally ask God for the direction and the guidance because sometimes we may see things that look great, that are wonderful, that we think may work, but those are the times where we really do need to sit back and say, but is this the direction? Is this where I'm being led? Is this for me? Because I even had a nonprofit, which was a great nonprofit. I have a nonprofit now for women, but I had a nonprofit that was for high schoolers. And it was to help high schoolers prepare and get ready for college. And it was a great nonprofit. And the parents loved the nonprofit. And so it's not like there was anything wrong with what I was doing. It was profitable, it was helpful, all of these things. But somewhere in there, Maria, it wasn't aligned.
Yeah.
It was not aligned. And so I never felt settled,
Yeah.
even though other people loved it, even though people were like, oh, yeah, I can't wait for next year or do this or do that. Every time I got ready to go to one of our meetings, I was like, oh, another one.
Another one. Yes.
Another
Yes.
one. And I enjoyed what I was doing, which is the ironic part. I enjoyed what I was doing, but it's something about it that just wasn't it. And I remember praying about it and I was like, what is this, Lord? I'm doing a good thing. And I remember God saying to me, you're doing the right thing before the wrong people. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? And he said, who do you love? Who do you enjoy? Who do you love to serve? And I said, well, I love women. And it was like a light bulb just went off. It wasn't the fact that I wasn't in purpose or doing something that I was supposed to be doing. The alignment of who I was supposed to be doing it for was off. And so
Yeah.
when I changed who my audience was, which was women, I haven't looked back. God has adjusted certain things. I may have switched up on working from with mompreneurs to now with women business owners. So it may have switched up here and there, but the core has been the core. Loving women, loving to see women succeed, and loving to see them be able to balance without burnout.
Yeah, I love that so much. And honestly, you could have just started a blueprint for someone else that is aligned to do what you were doing for those high schoolers. And
Hmm.
so you maybe someone will say, "Oh, do you remember that was so awesome? It's no
Yes.
longer here. How about I start it?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. None of your experiences are for nothing. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it worked, if it didn't work, if you liked it, if you hated it. All of these are pieces that create you. And so, in order for me, it's just my opinion, in order for me to have become the person that I did working with women, I needed that experience working with those teens, in my opinion. It taught me how to put a nonprofit together, it taught me how to organize, it taught me how to create programs, all of the things that I do now. But had I not done it then,
Yeah.
that was part of the experience and growing. I was doing those things, just not doing them for those who I do it for now. But the core value is still there.
Yeah. It was, yeah, because it gave you the blueprint to start that for the next,
Exactly.
for what felt more aligned. And
Exactly.
yeah, I think, and I feel that same situation or that same feeling for, again, any aspect of your life,
Mm-hmm.
like the parenting even. So
Mm-hmm.
we have this blueprint, right? I have 3 kids. I have a blueprint that I could maybe use from my oldest to my second to my third, but and I'm now flexible enough to understand that they are 3 different human beings
Right.
and I can't parent them the same. However,
Exactly.
there is a core base of how I want to
Right.
be as a parent and what I want to be their safe space in
Mm-hmm.
all aspects. And that goes for all 3 of them, even if I'm serving them in a different way.
Exactly.
So I feel
Exactly.
like that first nonprofit gave you the blueprint to use for
Yes.
this new one, and I love that. I love that so much, and it feels so good when it feels aligned. um
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it flows. It feels,
Yes.
it is work, and it is hard work, but it
Mm-hmm.
is purposeful work, and it that
Exactly.
feels different in your soul.
And when you're called to it, even in the frustration, you can step out of it a little bit
Yeah.
and you can say, this is frustrating. It's hard to put events together. It's hard to do this. It's hard to do that. But because this is part of my purpose, because I feel called to this, because I feel drawn to this, because I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be at this point and in this season in my life, I can still get fulfillment from
Yes.
it.
Yes.
That's the difference. Are you being fulfilled even throughout the hard time, the frustrating part, everything not coming together the way it's supposed to, the T not crossing how you want it to cross? But is there fulfillment in it? And if the answer to that is yes, you are right where you belong.
Yes. Ah, I love it. Okay, so give me some insight. You went from that hustle first mindset, obviously,
Yes.
to embracing grace. What was
Mhm.
the turning point, and like how did you make the shift in your daily and like your daily life
Mhm.
and business?
What is so awesome about that is it really was, like you said, it really was just like a click. And I guess because I had time, y'all, I was sitting in that hospital bed.
Yeah.
And not only that, but when I came home, I couldn't do anything. My
Yeah.
mother had me on lockdown, y'all, and she would not let me work. As soon as I got home, I tell you, I was ready to jump into work. And my
Yeah.
mom is like, I don't think so. So, literally, for an entire month, mind you, this happened at the end of May, but I had been back and forth to the hospital from May to probably July. I had been back and forth to the hospital and things happening. And so my mom, all of June, she's just like, no, you can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You can't be on your laptop. You can't do anything. Well, that was very frustrating, especially in the beginning, because I love what I do. So I love to work. Remember, y'all, I like the grind. I like the hustle life a little bit. And so sitting there, I was like, hmm, hmm, now what?
You
Now
were
what?
forced to be quiet.
I was forced to be quiet and I was forced to sit and say, okay, God, I have no idea how this is going to work because you are redirecting everything again. I am a person, I'm an ABC person. And so
Uh-huh.
I like to know what's going to happen at 2, what's going to happen at 2:45, what's going to happen at 2:48. And I had no roadmap. My only roadmap was do the first thing and then I'll give you the next thing.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that I was given was when I get my strength back, tell the story.
Yeah.
Tell the story. Let people know that you're going to be walking this out, walking out this new season of your life through grace and not with a full blueprint. Tell the story. That's all I got, Maria. Tell the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so from there, that's where I'm building my community. I'm building my community with faith driven women entrepreneurs who are ready to let go of the grind and embrace grace so that they no longer have to build through burnout. We're building businesses that are aligned with purpose. But in order to know that, we have to know what our purpose is. You're struggling in a business that you've been in for 10 years that you haven't seen the profit. You've lost relationships. Your kids are driving you crazy. You haven't been to no Christmas parties, all because you're putting pressure in a business that was never meant for you. So let's go back first and find out, what have you been called to do? Where is your purpose? So now let's align your business with purpose. And when we bring those two together, now we can balance family, life, purpose, and business, because those two things will come together.
Yeah. I love it so much. So, what practical steps can women take to stop chasing
Mm-hmm.
busyness? Because unfortunately, we wear busyness with a badge
Yes.
of honor.
Yes, we
Um,
do.
so what practical steps could we
Absolutely.
take from stop chasing the busyness
Yeah.
to start living with intention and peace?
And that's one that you hit right on the head. We're going to live with intention. So we're going to be intentional with our days, and we're going to be intentional with our mouth, and we're going to be intentional with how we spend our day. Meaning, I'm going to start, number one, setting the tone for my day. What do you want your day to look like? Start that at night. Start turning them lights off. Stop being in a disarray before you go to bed. Pick a time and say, my house closes down at 10. My house closes down at 9. Babies are in the bed by 8:30. If you have teenagers or whatever, it's different. But decide, hey, by 10 o'clock, kids, that you need to be in your quiet space, in your room, no fluttering around the house. We're going to bring the house down for silence. You will really be amazed about how you can set your tomorrow by how you're setting your tonight. And so
Yes.
when you calm your night, then you can create a morning that's not as rushed. And so when you create a morning that's not as rushed, you can get up the next day and you can say, I'm going to take time to speak life into my day first before my day starts. Why? Because I set the tone for that already last night. So when you get up in the morning, speak life into yourself, speak spirit filled words into yourself. Get up in the morning and grab a verse that night before. Grab your favorite verse tonight and then put it there and say, I'm going to wake up and speak this. I'm going to have a great day because this is the day that you have made. That's not to say that somebody's not going to get on your nerves, because we
Yes.
mix those things up. They probably will get on your nerves. But what you said is, I'm determined, because this is the day that you have made. I'm determined to have a good day. So even when
Yes.
you get on my nerves, I'm going to let you bother me for about 3 seconds, and then I'm going to go
Yes.
on back to having a good day. That's one of the things we want to do. We want to set our day. When we set our day, then our business works better. Our daily activities work better. The home runs better because we have set the tone for tomorrow, tonight. And then
Yes.
the other thing we want to do, which is something, that you mentioned too, about being flexible, you want to maintain flexibility. And you want to maintain flexibility because you want to allow God the opportunity to change directions for you. My stroke changed directions for me. But what if I was set in, no, this is what I'm supposed to do? No, I'm supposed to be with mompreneurs. No, this is where it is. I built this business on mompreneurs. Yes, I have built a business on mompreneurs for over 15 years, and now it's been redirected to faith-driven womenpreneurs. Well, these things happen. But if my desire is to remain flexible and say that I am in a position where I want to always remain in purpose, and if we're going to talk about being aligned and allowing God to drive us, then we have to be willing to let go of what we thought was going to, and we have to be flexible. When we're flexible with our life, with our business, with our children, with our families, with our relationships, when we're flexible, we're a lot less likely to be angry,
Yes.
to be disappointed.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Yes, so much. And it's so the first thing I wanted to say is I really, on so many levels, believe that when our past selves looks out for our future selves, we set ourselves up to succeed no matter what. So, like, I love that you said that I put my clothes out at night so that I know in the morning that is not something I need to think about. That is one less
Exactly.
decision that I have to make.
Exactly.
And my brain does not have to think about, okay,
Exactly.
what am
Exactly.
I going to wear today? No, I do that. And when I
Yes.
meal prep, when I prep my
Yes.
meals, my past self is looking out for my future self, and I allow that to be like the blessing that it is.
Yes.
I stopped
Yes.
looking at it as like, oh, it's another chore for now.
Right.
It's
And I love to know what I'm going to eat for breakfast. If I don't have
yes,
nothing else prepared, y'all, I know what I'm going to have for breakfast. And I know what I'm going to have for breakfast because I know that if I get up in the morning and I'm searching for breakfast, my day is already like, okay, now I'm running behind. Now I have to do this,
yep,
now I have to do that. So I prepare and set the tone so that I'm not running around trying to figure out, well, what do I eat? Da, 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 especially because I need to be more intentional about what I eat.
yes,
And I don't want to always just grab a bowl of cereal. I want to really begin to fuel my body. Then I make sure that at night, I'm like, okay, what are you going to have for breakfast? Even if I don't know what I'm going to have for the rest of the day, I try to make sure that I at least know what I'm going to eat for breakfast. And I try to do things like make soups so that when
yeah,
I'm hungry throughout the day, still, if I don't have a meal prepared, let me at least grab a little bit of soup while I try to think about what I want
yes.
to do for tonight.
So
So
I'm
just
not going at
yes,
it in a
right.
yeah,
So just little things like that. And another thing is having a schedule, knowing what it is that you're going to do and not overloading it. Maria, if you already know that you have 5 things scheduled for today after work, why are you going to agree to help your neighbor move?
agreed.
Why?
Completely agree. I can't even tell you how much I so part of my redirection with the podcast was, oh right, in order for me to keep this feeling fulfilling and this feel of flow, I need to set some boundaries. And
Mhm.
so that first started with a schedule. So I will only record on Tuesday nights,
I
that
love it.
that one night, and on Saturday like early afternoons.
Mhm.
That's all. And if I have to, like yesterday was my birthday, yesterday was Tuesday, so I was like, I'm not doing one today, but
That's
I can
right.
open myself up, be flexible enough to open
Yes.
myself up for Wednesday so I can meet with Shelley.
And you get to choose that.
And I get to
You get to
choose that.
choose.
Yes. And it felt, once I did that, it didn't feel like this was taking over my life. It
Right.
was a part of my life.
Exactly. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Allowing things to be a part of your life. Understanding that there's some things that I call solids. There's some things that don't change in life. If
Yeah.
you're a person who work a 9 to 5, in this season, your solid right now is that you have a schedule that's blocked from 9 to 5. So
Yep.
that is the solid that's in your life, meaning that's just not going to change. So now what we do is we add flexibles into our life. We add flexible activities. Why? Because we can remove them at any time. What happens with us is we get stuck in the flex and you forget, okay, I record on Tuesdays, so I have to record on Tuesdays. My birthday is on Tuesday. I'm so upset because now I have to record. When recording is a flexible in your
Yeah.
life. The solid in your life is my children have to be picked up by 3. That's a solid. What's solid in my life is I have to leave the house Monday through Fridays at 7:30 in the morning to so I can make it to work by 9. That's a solid. Me recording is not a solid in my life.
Yeah.
It's a flex. It's a
Yeah.
flexible activity that I get to choose and say, I can rearrange this to make this day, this week, this season more harmonious. Where can your activities harmonize with one another? And that's what we're looking for. That's how we begin to flow in grace and let go of the grind. You would have been unhappy. You would have been angry that you couldn't celebrate the way you wanted to. Your birthday would have felt rushed. And why? For what? When you get to dictate the flexible activities in your life. And
Yeah.
that's why remaining flexible is a wonderful way to allow yourself to walk in grace and let go of some of that grind.
Yeah. I love it so much. So, so much. This is amazing. So, how can faith driven women integrate alignment with God's plan while pursuing their goals?
Yes. One of the ways that I am learning and that I am sharing with my new community of how to integrate is number one, being able to take some time to be quiet and
Yes.
being able to take some time to journal. And also number three, speaking words that God has spoken in your life. We've got to get our tongue under control. When we get frustrated, and I'm guilty of this, when we get frustrated, I can't learn this. I'll never be able to do this. Are there some things that are challenges? Yes. Are there some things in my life that I'm not getting ready to play with the challenge? I'm just going to hire somebody to do it because that's where your blessing is. Yes, you have been equipped to create websites, not me, and I'm not going to bother myself with it. So it's not even a matter of whether I can learn it or whether I can't learn it. It is not my testimony, therefore I'm going to give it to somebody else. But when
Yeah.
we but when we begin to sit and say what we can't do or what we'll never do or I'll never be like this, or when we continue to compare ourselves to other people, it knocks down what is for us. And so one of the best ways to be able to integrate is to become intentional with your solids and your flexies. What is a
Yeah.
solid in my life? What is the flexi at this season? Maybe I only have from 4 to 6 on Tuesdays to be flexible with my time. So then from 4 to 4:20, I'm going to sit quietly because that's the time that my kids are older. They don't need me to help them with homework as much. So from 4 to 4:20, 4:30, as they're doing their homework, dinner is prepared, I'm going to take that time to still away and say, I'm going to sit and I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to journal and I'm going to see, what do I hear in this time? That's how we begin to integrate things. That's how we begin to have self-care and the importance. That's when we begin to hear, when we're not always talking and when we're intentional about taking the time to do it. I think that's one of the most beautiful things that happened when my mama took my laptop from me, y'all. I had to be intentional. I went through a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of fear that was happening in my life. I was scared that I was going to go into another stroke. I was scared every time I had a headache. I really had to lean on my faith. But what happened in that time is I also learned to listen a
Yeah.
little bit more because I was so vulnerable and I was hanging on to my faith so hard because that's all that I had. But I was vulnerable, I was open, and I could hear a bit better. I could feel God's presence a bit more because I slowed down long enough to allow Him to speak to me and to allow myself to actually listen, which again, I blame my mama because she took my laptop. But that's
Thank God for your mama. Yeah, I agree. I feel like, and also I feel like when we are tested in these moments of health crisis and
mhm.
things like that, it gives us I feel like it gives us like a certain perspective
Oh,
in
absolutely.
that, oh wow, we I could have not been here.
Right. Right.
And where
Huge reality.
it's a huge reality.
Yes.
And I've been in that situation a few times in my life that I've been like, wow, I could have not
Yes.
been here anymore.
Yes.
So what else? Like, that means
Yes.
that I'm still here and there's a purpose behind
And
it.
there's a
So
purpose. Yes.
I need to find that
And
in
what
my
is
goal.
that purpose? The reality is this: all of us are going to meet the same end. And it is sucky when you think about it, but all of us are going to meet the same end. But when you go through a situation where you really have like met death face to
Yeah.
face, and God has allowed you to still be here, you look at things a bit differently and
Yeah.
you begin to go, okay, there really is a reason. There's a reason why all of us are here. But today I could have not been here. When my daughter saw me that night when I got home, she said to me, she was like, wow, I cannot believe that I woke up with a mother and today I would have gone to bed without one. She's like, just to see you is like, wow. And so even her just coming to the realization that this is life. One day
Yeah.
we're here and then
Yeah.
one day we're not. And it does give you a different perspective when you come face to face with your fatality. And it helps you to understand I don't have all of this time. And even though I feel like I understood that before, it's different now. It's like not only do I know I don't have that kind of time, but I know I don't have that type of time. And I don't want to waste that time not giving what I'm supposed to give, not
Yeah.
discovering what I'm supposed to discover, not living the purpose that I'm supposed to live. I don't want to live like that. I want to make sure that I have done and am doing everything that I've been called to do. I want to leave this earth empty. I want to leave the earth coughing dust because I'm so empty, because
Yeah.
I've done everything in this time that I've been given. We have a dash. We have a dash. We have a birth date. We have an end date, and we have a dash. What are you doing in
Yeah.
between those two dates? And how will you leave a legacy?
I yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All I could say is yes, because I believe all of that so wholeheartedly. I feel like this is why I even started the podcast, is because I knew that stories like these were what people sometimes needed to hear, because some
Mm-hmm.
of those situations we feel so alone
Yeah.
that this gives us the purpose for us to
Mm-hmm.
continue to find our way.
Yes.
So I love everything that you just said. So just to wrap up a little bit, what do you feel, and we've had this conversation before, so what do you feel now were the limiting beliefs or roadblocks that you had to overcome to get to where you are now?
What I think I had to overcome is the fact of you won't be able to revamp.
Yeah.
After you've done something for so long, you can't revamp. And so I think that my limited belief was, what do I do now? Because you already have built this community. You're not going to be able to do this again. You're not going to be able to restart again. So all of those things like coming at me at once. How are you going to do this again? People already know you for this, so you're not going to be able to do that, or blah blah blah. So I think that has been probably the biggest thing in my head. Now you're starting from scratch. You had this
Yeah.
many followers. Now you don't have this, or people are not going to follow you into that. And that's one where I've had to do, like I said before, and say, you did this, sir.
So do your thing.
Do you right? You did this.
Do your thing
so
now.
so now you take me and show me what to do. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what I'm walking in now, being led by faith and not by sight. And I
Yeah.
don't really like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard because we like to have control,
I
and
do.
I feel you to like my soul. I feel you. I We like to do things a certain way, and
Yes,
when that doesn't shape out, you're like, well, wait,
exactly.
I don't know
Yes.
what to do with
Now
myself
what?
now.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's where I am right now. And that's the limiting belief that I think I've had to overcome. And it's going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be a slow journey because anything can happen,
Yep.
but it is learning again.
Yep.
It is trusting again. It is evolving again. But this time I get to do it with 20 plus years of experience.
Yes, I love it. So, give me, I know that we talked about this, but a daily habit that you say that you have figured out that has to be done now going forward.
Mhm. I think for me, my daily habit really is waking up in gratefulness. And it's not like I wasn't grateful before, but as you've stated, there's a mind shift that happens when you go through certain things. And so waking up is more powerful to me than anything else in the world. Waking up, being able to speak is the greatest gift other than life itself that God
Yeah.
gives me every single day. And so I even hate to use the word habit because it's me waking up with a grateful heart. And that
Yeah.
I believe is the most wonderful thing that anyone can do, to wake up and be grateful for what you've been given. That doesn't mean my day is going to be all miraculous. That doesn't mean I'm going to even enjoy all the aspects of my day. What it means is I'm grateful for the breath that has been given this
Yes.
day.
Yes, 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 yes. I love it. Oh my gosh, Shelley, this is amazing. So, you told me that you're going to gift our listeners with a little
Yes.
something. So, give us a
Yes.
little bit of details on that.
Yes, we spoke a little bit about habits that we can begin in our lives that will really help us to balance out family, business, purpose, all of those things. And one of those things that I talked about is us being able to speak right to ourselves and to be able to line our words up with who we've been called to be. So I would love to leave a gift with the listening audience called 6 Spirit-Filled Affirmations. I know that many people speak words of affirmations into themselves, but for the faith driven womanpreneur, we want to align those affirmations with the word of God so that it has even greater power in our lives because He has spoken them to us. And I would love to leave that gift for your audience, 6 Spirit-Filled Affirmations.
I am so excited. So, we're going to go ahead and leave a link in the show notes so that you have access to that. And I'm going to, as always, put Shelley's information in the show notes so that you can stay connected with her on social media and really connect with her outside of just our podcast. So, I am so honored to have had you back. Let
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute joy to just see this and this new evolution of Shelley because it was already amazing and now it's just even stepped up more. So I
Oh, thank
appreciate
you. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure to be here. I appreciate you so much for sharing your
it.
platform with me.
Absolutely. So, listeners, as always, check out the show notes for you to be able to connect with Shelley and for you to get the affirmations as well. Thank you so much for listening today. And as always, peace out. Love your life. Bye.
Bye bye.